Jamie O'Hara there, giving it the Mo Salah equals Messi line, which is fine. I know a lot of people loving Mo Salah. I love watching Mo Salah.
Yeah.
If you don't love that goal yesterday, and all right, you might be a Man City fan, so you might have a different view. But if you don't love that kind of football, then you're not a football fan. That's what I believe. It was a classy, quality goal. His numbers stack up. However, I do think we should look just beyond goal scorers when we're looking at who's the best player right now. Hence my line about Antonio Rudiger. Talking of which, Tom's a Charlton fan. I won't ask how you're doing, Tom, although Charlton won at the weekend, didn't they?
Yeah, it was about time, wasn't it?
It was second win of the season, I think it was. So, it was about time, you're right. What do you want to say about Antonio Rudiger?
Oh, I mean, I agree. First of all, afternoon to the pair of you.
Afternoon.
I mean, yeah, I agree with your point. I think Rudiger as a player, I think he's evolved with the Chelsea squad. But I think it's taken someone like Tuchel, who tactically, he's watching the game every minute. I mean, you watch the game, some of the changes he's made at half-time, people might be sitting there and going, oh, what's he doing that for? But, he's always grinding out a result. And I don't really think he's taken many wrong decisions since he's been at Chelsea.
Is it to do with my biggest thing, whenever one individual centre-back gets the credit, I always believe it's about partnerships. And don't you think they've found the right partner at the side of him?
I do, but let's be honest, Thiago Silva doesn't play every week. It can be Christensen, it can be Thiago Silva. It's not a set back or a set centre-back pairing, to be fair, at Chelsea. It does change. I still think they made a mistake as well in letting Tomori go. I think he's going to turn into some player. He looked good, when Lampard was there. But yeah, Rudiger's he's come into his own. He had the odd mistake in him. He'd make some howlers. He'd have some horror shows. But Tuchel just seems to be getting the best out of him.
You know, I make you right. It's a very good point you make about partnerships, and with Chelsea playing three at the back, and it does change though. Thiago Silva doesn't always play, and when you take out somebody that cool and that in command at the back, you need a replacement there. So the three at the back at the weekend against Southampton, a game they were expected to win, a game they did win. Trevor Chalobah played. Again, you're looking at somebody who's fairly raw in terms of Premier League experience, but when he's played, he's done really well. Silva in the middle and Rudiger on the left. And I think Rudiger benefited from having Chilwell in front of him. And in fact, the goal they conceded was because Chilwell made a crazy challenge for a penalty. It's so uncharacteristic and maybe a result of the difficult time he's been having in terms of being out of the picture for Chelsea and for England. So he made a crazy decision, and maybe with a few more games under his belt, he might not make such a bad decision. But after that, there was never any real danger for Chelsea. At the back, they just look so solid. And I think that of those players, Rudiger plays regularly, plays all the time. And I think he looks, the most dynamic and the most solid of the three when he plays as well. James is a Liverpool fan. What do you want to say, James?
Good evening, gentlemen. Great to speak to you.
And to you.
But the very first point I'll make, I think you're talking about Antonio Rudiger. I think something that's really interesting is that Tuchel is actually the first German manager that Rudiger has had in his time at Chelsea. So there's possibly a cultural link there that Rudiger is benefiting from. In terms of Mo Salah, I totally agree with you. I'm not one of these fans that gets blinded by love for the club. I think Mo Salah is in a really hot vein of form right now. He's not the best footballer in the world. That's a much wider question. For me, I think you're looking at people like N'Golo Kante, Kevin De Bruyne, who are much more complete footballers, who I would say could be the best footballer in the world. As I say, Mo Salah is in a hot vein of form and is a phenomenal footballer. For me, aside from Gerrard and Suarez, he's probably Liverpool's best player in the Premier League era. But he's not the best player in the world. That, as I say, is a much wider topic.
Don't you think it's such a strange one with when we're talking about Salah, though? Ever since he's rocked up at Liverpool, he's been outstanding. His record's up there with the real greats of Liverpool. And I think he's just one of them players. I don't know why, but we keep questioning. Me and Aid talked about this last Monday, I think, where we said, I think at one point, a few years ago, we were all talking about Mane was the one who was going to go on and be the special one, winning the Ballon d'Or. But Salah's just found another burst of energy and just gone way in front again. at Liverpool.
He has. I think that, as I say, Salah's quality isn't in any question at all. But I think that because he's so good, he is coming into the conversation alongside the people who are at that upper echelon level. And I think that's why people question him, not because he isn't great, but because he's so great that he's in that conversation, but he isn't quite at the same level as people like Messi, Ronaldo at his peak, Mbappe, even Lewandowski. I think that's why the questions are there, not because he's great, but because he's so great. I think actually the questions are a testament to how good he is.
Kind of get it. I mean, with what puzzles me and annoys me a little bit is when somebody says, "Oh, this player, Mo Salah, is the best in the world," and they back it up with the numbers. Well, a midfielder and a defender ain't going to have those goal numbers. So surely you've got to look at the way they play all round. Mo Salah's definitely in the conversation for best player in the world right now, but I believe that others are that maybe you wouldn't have immediately thought of.
But that's where the money is. We're not daft, are we? That's football, full stop. The guys who put the ball in the back of the net are the ones who get the most bucks. I mean, they're going to get the biggest transfer fees because the ball is about getting the ball at the other end, isn't it? Defenders go for big money like Van Dijk did and stuff like that, Aid. But the real big money goes to the ones who put it in the net.
That's true, and that's why I flip it around and say, well, other than a dodgy penalty, Mo Salah didn't get a look in against Rudiger and Chelsea, hence what I'm saying about Rudiger. And let me put this to you as well. Mo Salah's contract situation is very interesting. I think Liverpool fans are very keen for them to tie him up. Tell you what Man City should do, go and sign Mo Salah. That's what they should do. They should put in a bid to the owners of Liverpool that they wouldn't be able to refuse.
Well,
fans wouldn't like it. But that's exactly the player Pep Guardiola and Man City need. Mo Salah. They should go and get him.
Well, let him have Sterling back.
If they want to do that as part of the deal, if Liverpool want that, I think it might be a difficult one to get over the line. But Liverpool, I think the owners might go for the money that Man City offer.
No chance.
The owners?
No,
they're not massive Liverpool fans from years back, mate. I mean, they're thinking about money as well and running a business.
I think Mo Salah. I was convinced at one point. I thought he's desperate to go to Barcelona or Real Madrid. That's the only move for
Nobody
me.
wants to go to Barcelona now.
No, not now. But I think still there would be that temptation of if one of those two came calling, there'd still be a temptation for Mo Salah to go and play there.
Well, if Man City say, well, double your wages, it'd go there. Let's drive on talkSPORT with WeBuyAnyCar.com to find out how much your car's worth in under 60 seconds. Enter your reg number now.